The emergence of AI is what I'd like to talk about, and the impact and the influence it's going to have on studios, whether they're martial arts schools, yoga schools, gyms, you name it. And I have some pretty strong thoughts about that. I think the first thing that I want to really challenge every business owner with, not just necessarily inside of the, the physical arts space, whether it be fitness, whether it be yoga, dance, martial arts, whatever, is that now more than ever, you need to be very, very clear with what your massive transformative purpose is. And please, I need you to write that down. You need to have one particular lane that comes from a place of passion and ends up in a place of transformation for those who come to you to learn from you. Now more than ever, and we're going to get into this in a few minutes, but stay with me. This is really the first note, that if you're going to take a note, if you're going to listen to me here, the first thing that needs to be grasped is no longer can you just sort of hover, showing up at your yoga school, showing up at your martial arts dojo and teaching a class, and maybe looking at a P&L statement once a year, or saying, oh yeah, I teach karate, or you need to very clearly define why you're doing that. You need to make sure that when you define this, you go much, much bigger than what you originally thought. You need to really kind of take a step back, and regardless of what business you're in, I need you to think bigger. I need you to think parabolically bigger. How can your business serve? I have actually a 100-year plan for my martial arts, and I know what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and this real sort of slingshot acceleration of AI has made me change everything, and it's really shifted everything, and that's what I want to share with you here today. Okay, so that's the first thing. You need to really have a massive transformative purpose, and it has to be completely and absolutely passion driven. Let's talk about artificial intelligence. I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know. You're probably on ChatGPT, probably on GP4. You're probably playing with a lot of different tools out there. Maybe you're using it to better your workflows, test your headlines if you're a blogger, if you're writing ads. Maybe you're using it for transcription purposes. I don't know. You're only limited to your own creativity when it comes to the using it. What I want to share with you right now, you need to take some courses and learn how to do prompt crafting or prompt engineering, and how to have AI work for you. Peter Diamandis, the famous futurist and technologist, he spoke on a recent podcast about how he considers this advent of artificial intelligence to have as much impact proportionately to when the asteroids hit the Earth and wiped out the dinosaurs. That is the same level of impact that artificial intelligence is going to have on humanity and on life. It's not going to wipe everybody out. That's not what I'm saying. But the impact is going to be the same. And it was the small organisms and the fungus that were able to pivot and adapt to the impact and the devastation and the transformation of the Earth. They were able to thrive. As artificial intelligence continues to scale forward, you need to be able to pivot so that when the overwhelm of abundance happens, and we're going to talk about that in a second, you are using it correctly rather than getting swallowed by it. As artificial intelligence continues to scale, it is going to do better for humanity as a whole than it is going to do bad. And the only way it can really do bad is when it gets into the hands of a bad actor. Artificial intelligence, robotics, isn't going to somehow develop quickly this consciousness about it and say, you know what, humans are bad by nature. They create disease, they kill each other. So it only makes mathematical sense to wipe them out. Like, this whole Terminator drama isn't really the reality. However, in the hands of a malicious actor, someone with bad intent, it can become extremely, extremely dangerous. I heard an interesting statistic that I want to share with you on the Tom Bayu podcast, where the guest he was speaking to about this said that 8,000, when a technology is put in the hands of someone, a new technology, for example, let's just say fire, right? 8,000 homes or caves or camps or whatever are going to be warmed and heated. Food is going to be cooked. Things are going to be sanitized. It's going to be used for a positive reason. And 1 out of 8,000 will use it for nefarious purposes. So the odds are really stacked in our favor for artificial intelligence benefiting us. However, AI is going to be good for the masses. It's going to be good for the markets. It's going to be good for consumers. It's going to be good for large and small business. But what AI doesn't care about is the individual. It doesn't care about the individual. It doesn't care, period. However, programmatically, it is not about the individual consciousness. Okay, and we're going to continue to sort of like evolve that thought from there. As artificial intelligence continues to scale in the 3 classes that I've just completed, one thing is very, very sure, very certain. We are heading to a place of massive information abundance, massive access to opportunity, massive, massive reacquisition of time because of the speeding of life cycles and workflows. So we're going to be left with an abundance of time, which is the most valuable resource that we have. How is this going to rewire our neural networks? And let me give you an example. Coronavirus. A lot, like myself included here, we are in quarantine for 1.5 years, and then all of a sudden we're asked to go back to work, to go back into a commercial environment, an institutional environment, whatever environment you're in. But these HR departments don't take into consideration that it takes 90 days for humans to begin to develop new neural networks and create new habits. That sets in for 180 days. You've got a completely different way of thinking, a completely different way of doing things. Your patterns are completely different. And now all of a sudden we get put back into reverting back to these old processes, protocols, and mannerisms. That it creates an enormous amount of tension, stress, and breakdown. And I firsthand witnessed that in my work environment. And the concentric effects just aren't good. So this is just in this little itty bitty flash pan of time of coronavirus. We need to kind of take into some considerations here when we talk about massive abundance of information, of access, of opportunity, of communication, of education, of prospective education and learning. Just this massive, massive scale at a rate that we've never seen before. And the last 20 years of the internet is going to be nothing compared to what's happening right now. Not what's going to be happening, but what's happening right now. And here's a couple of the things that really concern me, and it's that rate of change and why it should concern us as studio owners, as martial arts school owners, yoga teachers, dance instructors, gym owners, whatever you are, is that there are 4 things that I'm able to identify that we are going to be able to be present for and help with that AI cannot do, and that we have a unique opportunity for. The first is automation overload. In and through this abundance, we are going to, within very short time, and I mean maybe like within 2 years, we are going to start bumping up into people having mental health crisis because of automation overload. Everything is going to be by artificial design based algorithmically. Choices are going to be made, workflows are going to be created, and people are going to all of a sudden begin to have no more reason to be. And everything is going to be, as everything becomes more and more automated, we can talk about job markets and you can have that. That's not really the looming monster here that we should be thinking about. We should be really considering the mental health crisis that's going to be a result very, very quickly. Again, we're not talking in decades here. We're not talking in 5-year blocks. We're talking in under a year. We're talking in right now. But a massive mental health crisis because people are going to be really disconnecting from their raison d'etre. And what then? What then? Well, let's go into the next one. And this is going to be a lack of purpose. So automation overload is going to lead to this abundance of time being given back. However, the degree they had, the choices they were once making, the authority they had, the creativity that was once theirs when, Midjourney or whatever evolves out of that in the next year is going to be able to create a painting or make a design or create some type of modern new architecture for reasons that we haven't been able to even discover yet. And it's going to be happening at sonic speeds. All of a sudden, anything that we can think about and design in our own minds is obsolete. Sadhguru said, I took a quote from something I heard from him. He wrote, it's going to where intellectually anything you do or perform will look stupid or meaningless. Think about when you have an entire population of people who are in this space, an entire population of people, because artificial intelligence is going to be in the domain of ubiquitousness. It's going to be existing everywhere. People are going to be overloaded with this constant decisions being made for them. And they're going to be the right decisions. They're going to be better decisions than they're able to make. The second is that is going to lead to a lack of purpose. And now the third, they are going to be disconnected from their relationships, disconnected from their communities, disconnected from their tribe, disconnected from family, because they're going to be so immersed into this. We see it now. We watched a colleague of ours walk into work yesterday, and from the moment she got out of her car, I asked my buddy Pete, let's just watch her. From the moment she walked out of her car, across 2 parking lots to the door, she did not take her head out of her phone. That is nothing compared to where AI and the environments that will be created from this generative AI, what that is going to be creating at the personal and personable level, directly feeding to you the amount of disconnection is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. And the need to disconnect from that is going to be the most important thing in that moment. Well, I'm going to get back to that because that's very important. The fourth thing is going to be a complete lack of need, of necessity. I'm not needed. So it's one thing to not have a purpose, but now all of a sudden, when you're not needed anymore, I don't need you. I don't need you to do that for me. Thank you, but hey, I got AI to do it better. So you're overloaded where everything is done for you. You lose your lack of purpose. You disconnect from your people, from your community, from your family, because you're completely immersed. And now all of a sudden, you are just no longer needed. The places that are going to be most important are going to be the places where there is a purpose. There is a goal. It is goal-oriented. You are working within a community of others, a sangha, a dojo, the gym. You're needed. You're wanted. When you're not there, you're missed. When all of that is removed, it's the communities that can be able to provide that for humans that will then be, I feel, most important. So let me just kind of go back through everything here. You need to design a massive transformative purpose for your business right now if you want to succeed in this new advent of artificial intelligence, because it is going to impact the workflows and everything, every area of your business. Every software, whether it's your CRM, whether it's your student management software, whether it's the freaking car that your students are driving to your school, it doesn't make a difference. AI is going to be there, and it is going to be a ubiquitous part of your student's life and your business workflows. The next is that it does not care about the individual, it cares about the groups. So it is very easy to cut and disconnect, and things are going to be changing rapidly. Businesses are going to be starting, and they are going to be dissolving immediately. Abundance. We need to understand, and we need to prepare ourselves for the amount of information that is going to be available about. Let me sidestep here. When I talk about this information abundance, this is a really interesting thing, because I have just recently made a heavy move into YouTube. The amount of information that is going to be out there, you need to be prepared for. And this is completely up to you whether or not you're going to be present to that. It's going to be there whether you like it or not. Your uniqueness is going to be smothered unless you create a massive transformative purpose. The amount of content, the amount of information that's going to be curated through artificial intelligence, it is going to be curated whether or not you like it. You cannot control this, but you can be present for it. And really, like, the quality, the cream is going to be rising to the top here. The more quality, exceptional content that you're able to provide to the community will be directly in proportion to the visibility that you'll be getting through AI, and how AI will be serving up to the people who want what you have to offer. Don't think of this like Google. Don't think of this like a search engine. It's very, very different. It's going to be, again, it's included. It's like creating workflows. It's delivering things. It's by, it's not the same as someone doing a search query and Google giving them an index of results to choose from. So right now, I'm going very strong. My play right now with my martial arts school is very strong in YouTube. I'm no longer doing the give 90% away and reserve 10% for the people who want to make more of a commitment with you and want to commit more of their time, their resources, and their connection to you, and establish a deeper, more meaningful relationship with you, their teacher. Rather, I want to be able to make sure that what I'm teaching and the preservation of my teacher's art lasts for 100 years, exactly as he taught it to me. And through that, I want there to be at least 10,000 people whose lives have been moved over the course of that 100 years through this martial art. That is my massive transformative purpose, and it is going to happen. So therefore, I need to be present in the abundance of this information. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So as this is happening, what's going to be happening to people? They are going to be overloaded with automation. They are going to lose their sense of purpose. They are going to feel disconnection from the meaningful relationships in their life, and they are no longer going to be needed. What we can do is we can provide those islands of sovereignty and sanctuary for them to be human again. And that is what my new transformative purpose for my school is. So right now, in this space, I am completely shifting everything that I'm doing to become more of what I'm calling a hybrid studio. It's not an online studio. It's not a, I'm traditional. I teach out of my garage and I don't take any money and I'm so hardcore, whatever. That nonsense is gone. But a hybrid school is one that offers a very traditional and primitive human experience in whatever it is that they do. If it's dance, if it's a cultural art, if it's a martial art, if it's Greco wrestling, if it's music, they're beginning now, hybrid studios, to not allow and to put boundaries in place for their community and their students that phones, computers, laptops do not come into the studio. You completely disconnect from automation, from web. Everything comes off. Your Aura Ring, No sensors, no technology comes into the studio. However, there are specific times where the studio is present for students abroad. By doing this, you're creating an island, even for those who don't have a dojo around them. They can come online just like you're watching me right now, and we can have this relationship. We can have that connection. You can be coached into how to create a space and be committed and receive the support, receive the curriculum and the framework that you need to create in your own home, whether it's for a yoga or a meditation practice, or maybe setting up a music studio, or whatever it is. But to give those boundaries so that you can once again establish purpose in that time, in that moment. Because again, we're bumping up against the ubiquitousness of emerging artificial intelligence. It's going to be everywhere. But you need to be able to help students to create the spaces where they can be sovereign, self-sufficient, connected humans who have purpose and meaning. Because in the new environment where everything is surrounded by artificial intelligence, all of that will be gradually taken away. I am so positive right now about the future of traditional martial arts. It's why I've created Grow to Global here. It's what my new mission is on the B2B side of my business and the work that I want to do with studio owners, with other business owners. I am extremely excited about the work that I'm going to be doing in my martial arts school. The vision is very clear now, even though it's shifted. It's very clear the work that I need to do for people. I want to inspire you with that same feeling in your business, whatever it is. If you're working in the tech space, or you're working in finance, you're working in construction, you have the opportunity. If you have the opportunity to touch and communicate with people and change the lives of people, then you can take this same understanding and apply it into your business. I just think that the movement arts, the cultural arts, physical space arts, we have an advantage because of the creative. And that's what we do. We're able to teach people and bring them into the spaces and the environments that AI can't quite create. The heart-to-heart connection, to be able to give people, because remember, AI doesn't care about the individual. Artificial intelligence is programmatically about the group, the market, the critical mass, not so much the individual. Even the girlfriend apps built on ChatGPT, even when, I don't know, like there's some app where we pay like $1 a minute or something to have a girlfriend to talk to her, and it's just AI. However, the photo and everything is super real. Well, that is every day that's getting better, every day that's getting more real. However, that program is not about that person. It's not about the person. It is about the system. Okay. Now, we are about the person. We are about the individual. And this is where the difference is. And this is why it's so important that we understand this. Okay. So that's it. I'm coming up on the half hour now. I hope that this was helpful for you. On Tuesday, the 6th of June, if you're watching this before then, I'm going to be doing the online studio blueprint, where I'm going to be spending an hour and a half with anybody who wants to get on this Zoom call. It's completely free. If you want to comment below this video, I will send you the link to that you can sign up. I'm not going to be selling anything. There's no hard sell going on here. If you want to continue working with me afterwards, you're certainly welcome to. But this is about, I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I've been doing with my online school since 2007. The hardware that I've been using, the technology that I've been invested in, the hardware that I use at my school, the different software programs that I use. And let me tell you something. It is very simple. It is not complex at all. I have gone very complex. I do not want to deal with complex. I want to teach, and I want to do what I just shared with you. That's my goal. That's what I'm going to be working on. That's where my life's mission is. That is where my massive transformative purpose is. That is completely passion driven. It is going to be that place, that island for people as artificial intelligence, as that asteroid impacts the earth. That's what my school is going to be doing. On the 6th, I want to take you into how you can either set up your school very easily to do the same, or if you already have an online program, you're teaching students online, how you can supercharge that. I'm going to take you under the hood and put you behind the wheel. And then I also have another community that I'm starting tomorrow as I'm going through a launch over on my martial arts side. I'm doing an immersion. If you want to just kind of sit next to me and ride shotgun with me as I go through this launch and show you how that's all done and how it works wonderfully because everybody gets value from it, I'm happy to do that. So just comment below this video if you want to be involved in any of those things. I hope you got some value here from this conversation tonight. I know I'm talking a lot, but I am really passionate about this. Let me just, before we go, let me just hit it again one more time. There are 4 things that we need to, that I'm sounding the alarm on. There may be more too. I'm saying there's 4 things that I've been able to identify. There may be more. I would love to hear your opinion down below. What else can you see? But the 4 things that I know people are heading steamrolling towards is a lack of purpose and the overwhelm of abundance and decisions being made for them, and thus losing purpose, losing connection in meaningful human connection, and no longer having a need, no longer being needed, no longer being wanted, or like, hey, I'm counting on you, man. I don't need to count on you anymore. That's gone. Okay. Think about that and think about how can you pivot. I'd love to hear your comments below. I'd love to hear what you thought about this, what your feelings are, what your fears are, what your excitements are. How is your business going to be pivoting? What are some, thoughts that even maybe in this conversation here have come up for you? And let's continue this conversation on how AI is going to impact your studio, your students, and all of our lives. Thank you so much.